The Fed isn't who you think it is, and that should scare you. The US dollar is collapsing, and the guy currently in the White House is threatening to fire the Fed chair. But here's the crazy part. He can't. Not legally. You see, the Fed isn't even fully government. It's a private bank with shareholders. And if that's news to you, you're not alone. On June the 26th, 2025, the US dollar posted its worst first half performance since 1973. Why? Because markets are panicking about the future of the Federal Reserve. President Trump publicly criticized Jerome Powell again, saying he'd pick someone else to lead the Fed. Names like Kevin Warsh and Christopher Waller are floating around. Wall Street took the bait. Dollar down, markets up. And now, everyone's betting on rates cuts. But here's the twist. Powell can't be fired, not unless he commits misconduct. The Supreme Court already ruled on that earlier this year. So what's really going on? Most people think the Fed is a government agency, like the IRS or the Treasury. But it's not. The Federal Reserve System is an independent central bank made up of 12 regional banks, each of which is a private institution. Commercial banks in each region are required to own stock in their local Federal Reserve Bank. That stock isn't like regular shares. You can't sell it, but it does pay a 6% guaranteed dividend. So yes, the Fed has shareholders, and when it prints money, they benefit first, not you. This system was designed to be insulated from politics. But when politicians threaten the Fed or float successors for political reasons, the illusion of independence starts to crumble. The Fed dollar inflation feedback loop. When the Fed loses credibility, the dollar falls. And when the dollar falls, inflation doesn't go away, it gets worse. You feel it in your grocery bill, in your rent, in your savings account that's slowly bleeding value. All while big banks and asset holders move faster than you ever could. That's called the Cantillon Effect, and it's how the system keeps working. Print first, inflate assets, let regular people suffer the consequences. You can't stop the Fed. You can't time every market move, but you can learn how to think like an insider. Here's how. Don't hold cash long term. Buy real assets, real estate, gold, Bitcoin, income streams. Stack skills, not just savings. Because if the Fed starts slashing rates again, or if inflation surges back, you need to be ahead of that cycle. Look, I'll be real. I am anti-Fed. Not because it's edgy, but because I've studied how this system works. A private central bank owned by other banks printing money out of thin air. That's not freedom. That's control. I've spent the last decade building independence from the system. And I talk about it here not because it's easy, but because it works. When the system wobbles, most people panic, but a few prepare. If you've ever wondered who actually pulls the levers behind your economy, this is your wake-up call. Hit like, subscribe to Grey's Horizons, and share this with someone who still thinks the Fed is a part of the government. I will see you in the next one.